Hey guys, Carlos Colon here, and I've got books for you. Not really, I'm broke. I can't pay for books for you, but I can give you 11 examples of books that you should be reading that are going to really help you out, whether you're in real estate or a small business, or you just want financial awareness and you want to get better with money. These are 11 books I think are going to really help you out. So, let's jump right in. Book number one is The One Thing. If I could summarize the whole book, it really boils down to exactly what it sounds like. If there's one thing I could do on a daily basis in this one part of my life to make the most impact and the most difference in that one part of my life, what would it be? And so it really kind of targets that kind of mindset of the way you should focus your mind and your actions on a daily basis to create the maximum amount of results. So check that one out. That one's cool, and I think that it could apply to a lot of different places, from sports to business to finances. To your relationships. It applies a lot of different ways. So check that one out. The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. What ends up happening is it gives you a lot of laws to live by and run a business by, no matter what it is, small, big, whatever you're running as far as leading people, okay? The appropriate way to lead people, the way that you can lead people and be appreciated by those people as you lead, and also examples of ways that, leadership failures that you should avoid making that have happened in the past, and examples of how that went along. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So, Rich Dad, Poor Dad was a book that I read, I think, my first year in real estate, and I read it before I went into real estate as well. Rich Dad, Poor Dad goes by Robert Kiyosaki. Oh, I remembered this one. Wow, that's his name. Anyway, he wrote the book. It's a story about when he was growing up, how he had his biological father and he had his friend's father, right? And that's kind of like the mindset of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it goes through the stages of how he learned how to make money outside the framework of how society teaches us to make money, and how that leads to this freedom, right? I think that everyone should read that book and then check out his next book. This is a good segue into one of the other ones that I recommend, which is Rich Dad, Poor Dad's Cashflow Quadrant, okay? This starts to lead you into the different stages of not only, hourly pay or salary, but rather, when do you get and how do you get to financial freedom, and what do those stages look like? And it starts to really kind of dial in, where are you within those quadrants, and how can you get where you really want to be? And so it's a good way to put it down on paper, take a look at it, and build a path to get to what your goals really are. All right, number 5. This is going to sound really depressing, but I promise it's worth it. All right, The 5 Regrets of the Dying. Listen, okay, it's worth it. This applies for anybody. It's not about business. It's not about any of this. This is a step back and take a look at what's really important in life. It's this lady that she goes around taking care of the elderly, okay, that are on basically their deathbeds. And she talks about these 5 similarities that they all have when it comes to regrets within their life. Things that they didn't do, things that they did do. And they all have these similarities. And she puts them all into this book as a story that you can follow. And by the end of the book, you'll be able to apply that to yourself. And it's the equivalent of you fast forwarding however many years before you were on your last leg, so to say, and to be able to look back and go, what would my regrets be if that day was like today? What do I regret not doing, and what do I regret that I did do that I should have done differently, right? And so you can apply that to your own life. Please check out that book. It's awesome. Number 6. Number 6. That's going to be the 5 a.m. club, okay? All you day sleepers and all you non-early morning people. Okay, The 5 a.m. Club is a really good book in the sense that it talks about achievement and production within how many hours you're awake. So it might not seem like a big deal, but the difference between getting up at 6 or 6:30 and 5 a.m. is enormous. The amount of things that you accomplish within that extra 60 minutes of time and how that leads to production throughout your day are extremely important. And so it starts to set that kind of that pattern of, look, it's important and it worked for all these other people. Here's why it becomes so important. How you apply it to your life is completely up to you. So check out that book. It's called The 5 a.m. Club. Number 7 is Atlas Shrugged. Actually, I was given this book by my real estate professor at the University of West Georgia when I was getting my real estate degree. I held on to the book and I did not read it for the longest time, for many, many years. And then as I started building businesses, I went in and dove deep and just bit the bullet and started the book. That book is awesome. And it teaches some great valuable lessons in there about building a business and what it's like, and and how that applies to your life, and what some things that you need to be careful for. It's not a book about lessons and teaching you exactly what to do. It's actually a storyline about people that built big companies and what happened to them in their personal lives as well as their professional lives. So again, Atlas Shrugged, great book. Next, number 8, The Richest Man in Babylon. I actually didn't think I was going to like this book at first, but it has so many lessons in there that I think that every person should read, and in order to really understand, if you're a small business owner or a large business owner, what are some of the things that you need to do on a daily basis, and what do you need to be careful for? I think that this is the most powerful part about history, is learning from other people's past. So please check that one out. It's absolutely worth a read. The Richest Man in Babylon. Number 9 is The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I have read this book so many times. One of the authors of this book is Gary Keller and some other people. They put together this book of best practices, both financially, economically. You'll have to read through it. When you read through it the first time, you'll have so many takeaways. When you read it the second time, you'll have completely different takeaways. I have read this book at least 5 times. I read it at least once a year, and I have different ways to apply it as my business has been growing. I think this is one of the places where, yes, it is a lot more real estate specific, just so you know. Could you apply it to any other small business? Abso-freaking-lutely. So check that one out. It doesn't matter what company you're with. Gary Keller's with Keller Williams. I don't care whether you're a RE/MAX agent, Berkshire. It makes no difference. Please read that book. Next, number after 9, 10, Shift. The book Shift was also written by Gary Keller and some other people. And the book Shift is actually talking about changes within the market and how to prepare yourself and your business to be ready for those changes. And so a lot of times in business, what we're doing is growing, and we don't have sight of the what if. And we need to make sure that we always keep that mindset. As we keep growing, when things change, we've got to make sure that the company continues to profit even when things change. So you've got to be ready for anything. Shift is exactly that. Specific to real estate, Shift is how to really bulletproof your company. Check that one out. Apply it to your business, and that's another one that you're probably going to reread a couple times. Number 11 is called Necessary Endings. I think in business, 2 of the hardest things to do is hiring and then firing people or letting people go. Necessary endings really starts to spell out in any person's mind that's running a business why it's actually mutually beneficial for both of you to part ways. A lot of times when things aren't working, there's a lot of reasons why it's involved, but you need to understand this isn't a bad thing. This is a good thing for both sides. So read that one. I think it's a great book, and in most cases, I think what I love about this book is that one ending leads to both parties growing a lot bigger than they would have been otherwise. And so make sure to check that book out if you're running a business. Even if you're thinking about hiring your first person, please. This is so important to read that book so you understand what to expect walking into this. There's a lot of uncomfortable situations when you're running a business. If you're prepared and do your research ahead of time, these necessary things like we talk about, necessary endings, won't be that weird to you. It's just a part of what needs to happen. So, those are 11 books that you need to read and check out. There are so many others that I could have mentioned. I read, or rather listen to Audible, a lot of different books every year. And so we'll do another segment of this with some more books. If you've read any of those books, whether you've already read them or you just finished reading them, please tell me what you thought. Let me know what your biggest takeaways, your biggest ahas from these books, so that people can read them and kind of have something to apply. I think there's so many important lessons that anybody could take from these books. So tell me what you liked, tell me what you didn't like. Check it out in the comments below. And if you need anything from us or from myself, please give us a call. Our number is 770-314-1285, or check out our website at www.georgiaperimeterhomes.com. Thanks. Bye.